Get up in here. Get up in here. This is Wednesday night mind dump. Let's go, let's go, let's go. I am the Polish Saint, and I am so excited to be up here with you all tonight. If you up in here, go ahead and let me know. Let me know by saying, "What's up?" Let me know that y'all can hear me because I did make a couple changes, and I want to make sure that the fan is not like necessarily blowing into the microphone. So if y'all can go ahead and help me out with that, I would really appreciate it. And keep getting that work in California. That's the song I was just listening to. Yeah, time to go to Cali, 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 get some work in. Today's live is gonna be a little bit different. A little bit, not really. It's still me running my mouth, so I guess it's not much different. But today's live is titled. It talks about the amount of filth in our life that we have to overcome, right, in order to become clean. And so I'm going to get very transparent with you guys today and talk about some of the things that I have personally had to overcome in order to get to this space here, the where I am, right? The coach, the self mastery coach at that. How did I get here? Um, that journey was hell. So let me know if y'all can hear me. Please, please, please let me know. Let me know if y'all hear me. Yeah, yeah, yeah. I don't want to get 20 minutes into this conversation, talking and running my mouth, and y'all ain't heard nothing I said, and I'm just running my mouth. Even though I like to run my mouth, I don't really like to run it just so I can hear it. So get up in here. Get up in here. I'm the Polish Saint, self mastery coach, author, and motivational speaker. So, we have already talked about my book. If you want to buy my upcoming book, go over to my website and pre-print order my book. If you are anywhere near Dayton, Ohio, you have an opportunity to meet me live and in person on June 22nd. I will be doing a coaching session on the birth charts, basics of birth charts, along with a book signing. So, and that is happening in Dayton, Ohio, on June 22nd from 12 to 6. You can pre-order my book on my website starting today. There is a special for YouTube subscribers. So if you're subscribed to my YouTube and you're interested in the second copy of my book, send me a message on my website, and I will get you a $20 copy signed. So, all right, that's the I guess like promotional stuff that I'm supposed to do. I don't know. Let's get into it. How did I become the saint? First of all, who am I? My legitimate name is Monica Veal. The Polish Saint is merely a title. It's the title of what I am and what I do. It is not who I am. Who I am is Monica. And so Monica has had to endure a lot and come over a lot, right, to get to the saint. Like, I didn't just become the saint overnight. And I think that oftentimes I'm doing this particular video because a lot of times people meet me or they see me and they assume that I've been through nothing, or they may even question what gives me the right to bump off at the gums like this and gives me the right to say I have mastered myself, right? Well, I had to master myself to become the saint. I did not give myself the title of the saint. It is definitely not something that I gave to myself. So, in order to get through self mastery, there are levels, and I oftentimes talk about these levels, but I feel like I haven't ever broken them down from my personal experience. Okay, so the first level for myself that I had to get beyond was childhood abuse. And so the journey of healing that abuse and constant fear, the constant feeling of being unsafe, the constant feeling of um, being unseen or cared about, right? And so I had to get beyond those things. And what I did was I began to use tools that I had acquired over years in counseling and adapt those tools to recognize when I was responding to situations in my now moment from emotional tools that I had learned in my trauma, right? And so, what that kind of looked like for me was a constant reevaluating myself and how I responded to certain things, how things affected me, and then being conscious of the fact that a lot of what I was internally feeling had nothing to do with what I was externally experiencing in the moment. And so this is where you guys hear me saying that the mind only receives, perceives, stores, and recalls. That's all it does. It doesn't create anything um, outside of what it has stored there. And so recognizing that that thing of abuse, neglect, abandonment had created for me barriers and walls that I would use in order to protect myself. There came a time in life where I realized that the things that I was doing were having the exact opposite effect. And so, using the tools from counseling, I was able to see, okay, well, this, I do this, or I think this thought because of this, and then I react this way because of that. And then I had to start self checking myself. And so, when I would find myself having a certain internal energetic cluster, I would have to address that before I would say anything because I needed to first get myself together on the inside. The next thing that I had to overcome was childhood sex abuse, okay, as well as later sex abuse. And so overcoming that was a process of recognizing that I was responding to sex in ways that were not healthy for me. I was identifying and relating with sex with ways that were not healthy, and had even, in fact, developed a sex addiction. Like to the point where like I needed to have sex all the time. Like, what do you mean? I'm woke. I should be having the sex. And so overcoming a sex addiction didn't happen until I had developed an obsession with the drug ecstasy. And in developing this obsession with this drug, I've never been like the addictive personality to a drug. But with this ecstasy, it was like, oh, I could take it and I can get high and I can have sex all day, even more than I could have it anyway. And I could just go on and on and on. And so I would do it. But the thing became that it was draining me. So once I realized, this thing is like pulling me down, I had to first address the obsession to the drug. Okay, so I had to work my way out of that thing backwards. Okay, how you doing, O'Shea? Get up in here. Uh, and Honey Love, how you doing too? So I had to work my way backwards, okay, from the obsession through the addiction, because if not, it was a perpetual cycle of just wild sex, flashing lights, and I was in audio visual mode all the time. I don't know if you ever taken ecstasy before. It's like you just be in audio visual mode. And so, in addressing the drugs, I had to start with the fact that I didn't really like the way it felt. Beyond that, the cost of it. Next was the price of time, like how much time it took, right? Because like I would get high on like a Friday. By the time I come back to normal, it's like Tuesday. Like it's just a waste of time. And so once I latched onto the time factor became it for me, right? And I say that to say that when you're struggling with something, you have to find out what is the factor in it for you that is great enough for you to say, I don't want it anymore. Um, and so the money didn't matter because I'm getting money all the time. The feeling didn't matter because oh my god, I'm having the greatest sex of my life. Right? And so I could dismiss that. But the amount of time, okay, and when I would look at how much time it was and how much money I could be making in that time, I held on to that to release myself from the obsession to the drug, which then allowed me to address my sexual addiction. Okay, because I had to get to a point of understanding that sex is great and I should have it, but only under healthy terms. Now the sex addiction took a little longer. Okay, the ecstasy thing, it took me a couple months to be like, yeah, I'm just not doing it. Like I don't want to. But the sex thing was something else, and it took some time, and it was probably about 2013, um, which is what led into my celibacy. I'm meditating one day, and I hear a message that tells me that I'm using my sex in the wrong way. And so this now sends me on a okay now. And most of us will say, "Well, I did heal. I dealt with the drugs. I did heal. I dealt with the childhood trauma. I did heal. I dealt with the." No, healing is a level thing. Okay, and all of us have different levels to this healing thing. So with the sex addiction, I had to start to convince myself that I I didn't need the sex that I thought I needed. It was a want and a desire, and one that absolutely emotionally cost me a lot, because it left a lot of brokenhearted people, including myself. It left a lot of instability in relationships, emotional foundations, and stuff. And so looking at that and the damage it was causing to myself as well as others helped me to hold on to the fact that I have to figure out how to use this thing in a healthy way. And it led to my celibacy and helped to ultimately support such. Now, um, as I went through these processes, obviously there are other things that are highlighted throughout each level, because you may think, oh, I'm dealing with this addiction, or I'm dealing with this obsession, or I'm dealing with this bad habit, and then it'll bring up the next. And so in this sex addiction thing, what it brought up to me was my addiction to stinking thinking. Yeah, boy, I was bad with it. I would want something, I would desire something, I would have a goal come into me, an idea, and by the time 2 days had went by, I had come up with so many negative things as to why this thing wouldn't work. And so, with that, I had to look at and see objectively for myself, why do I do this? Well, I found out that I was doing it because I was holding on to this ideation that we should hope for the best but prepare for the worst. And so I was rationalizing my way through new opportunities as they were presented to me based upon old experiences and thought processes. And this was causing me a lot of delays as far as success. I couldn't grasp the opportunities that were presented to me in ways that were um, fruitful, okay, or sustainable. And so, the stinking thinking, I had to start writing out my thoughts and like hearing myself with these thoughts, and then understanding, okay, why did I think that thought? What was the point of the thought? Is it helping me? Is it hurting me? And understanding and identifying that these things are my blocks. So in this now, right, blocks, I'm creating the blocks. Whereas for a time in life, I had become a victim. I was a willing victim to and a complainer of all that didn't feel good in life to me. Excuse me. Which was another form of stinking thinking, right? And so I hope you guys can understand and see how, through the process of your healing, and this is why you have to be patient with yourself, because peace comes piece by piece. There's not one of us who's going to just wake up one day and be over every trauma we've ever experienced, be over every bad mistake we've ever made, be over every bad habit that we ever created, be over every bad relationship that we've ever contracted to. It's impossible. But it is possible to get here to this point where, I mean, I'm telling you guys, I live an amazing life, right? I live free. I live happy. I live in my own essence, okay? And that feels good to me. But it took a lot of work to get here. And it would not have been possible if I wasn't willing to look at the child sex abuse, if I wasn't willing to be accountable to myself for the sex addiction, if I wasn't willing to be hold myself accountable for the obsession to the drugs, if I wasn't willing to hold myself accountable for my stinking thinking, there was never going to be any change. And this is where you guys hear me saying, I never changed anything in my life until I saw it as a problem. Okay, it doesn't matter what nobody else ever said to me. Once I saw it as a problem and was sick and tired of myself, then it was required for me to make changes. So when you get sick and tired of yourself at a point, this isn't a point for you to go into cynical thinking and get depressed and down on yourself and, oh, I'm such a bad person and I can't get it right. No, 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 no. This is your opportunity to look at yourself objectively and see what you've been doing over the course of your life to create the outcomes that don't feel good to you. And when you do, of course, you have the opportunity at that point to have a different perspective and change your approach. So, the next addiction that I had to overcome was gambling. Okay, now gambling was more of an escape. Okay, it was an escape because I could just get into this thing and we would play poker or Tonk or what was the other game we would play? Pity Pat, Pity Pat, Pity Pat. So we would play these games, right? And I'll share it with my friend the other day. I was so bad with gambling, and I was in a relationship during the story. I left home one day at about 6 in the evening to go and play cards with my friends. It was like a Friday night. By the time I walked out of the house, okay, that we were gambling in, it was 6 o'clock the next evening. Okay, and now I don't know about any of you, but if you ever been in a relationship with somebody and you don't come home at night, okay, this like sparks all kinds of crap, like, right? It is just like a domino effect in stinking thinking, bad communication. It's just things about to go to crap. And as you can imagine, it did, right? And the whole time I'm thinking on the way home, like, what can I say to make sense of where I've been? Like, what smart thing could I say? Like, because there's no way I'm going to go in here and say, oh, well, I just been gambling. It's terrible. And so I had to look at that. Why was I doing it? You know, and what was the cost for me? Okay, number one, I was destroying my trust within my relationship because clearly my partner's thinking like, you got somebody else, you got to, because ain't that much shuffling and playing cards in the whole wide freaking world. Wherever you slept last night, you need to go back to. Wherever you ate this morning, you need to go back to. Wherever you've been, get your ass back, right? And so you're trying to come up with smart things, and so this led to lying, right, to cover up my iniquities. Trying to, oh, well, the car broke down and we couldn't get out, and I couldn't call you because my phone had went dead and I didn't have a charger, all this retarded stuff. Like, it's just dumb shit. And so I had to truly address this addiction, okay, with gambling. It was like I couldn't think, hey, Friday come, I'm going to go play my cards, okay, and I'm going to do that. And so I had to address that. I also had to address my habits of shrinking myself, making myself smaller than I was to fit into places that were not even my spaces to be in. That was what I ended up finding out with that was it was like attached to my abandonment and neglect issues. And so now here I am back looking at this abandonment, neglect, and early abuse that I had worked through. I had healed this. But it's right here, right now, and it's presenting itself to me in the ugliest ways possible. And so when we choose the journey, we're choosing it because we want the greatest version of ourselves, and everything else is secondary and unnecessary. But what's very necessary along the journey is being accountable to yourself and recognizing where your strengths are, where your weaknesses are, and bringing a balance to these things. And so when I sit in front of you guys and I'm talking And I'm telling you guys, keep going. Everything's great. Life's good. You're the shit. You're here for the bomb. They fighting for you. They fighting for your soul. It's you. I mean those things because I have literally experienced them and had to walk through these valleys of darkness, which is why the series that I'm written is called A Trip Through Hell to Rediscover Heaven. Because to self check yourself is where the hell is. See, we don't necessarily see when we're enjoying our addictions, it's not hell, it's just fun. I never once took an ecstasy pill and felt like I was in hell. Like, that wasn't what was happening. I was having a hell of a good time, okay? But I didn't feel in hell, okay? Now, on the come down from the ecstasy, all the beautiful party and all the lights and all the sensations, and oh my God, I just feel like I'm floating. Okay, once all that came down, oh, my head hurt, my back hurt, I'm thirsty, I can't like get my equilibrium back, and it might take me a couple of days. I don't feel good. Okay, and so when we hold ourselves accountable and we recognize that, damn, I'm creating some fucked up shit for myself. I'm creating what I don't want to feel for me. It's like why I've never gotten really into alcohol. Like, yeah, I will drink something, but I'm not gonna drink. I don't like the way it makes me feel. Okay, the last thing I want to be, oh my God, please, please God, make the earth stop spinning. Oh my God, I can't keep my eyes straight. They rolling in the back of my head. I can't stand straight. I can't see straight. I can't think straight. This I don't like alcohol. Okay, but different things for different people. And this is why we should always be compassionate with other people. There's no such thing as a totally healed person because we're always constantly evolving and meeting new versions of ourselves who ultimately have to go back through those same challenges of addressing your addictions, addressing your shortcomings, addressing your stinking thinking, addressing your low self esteem, addressing your low image of yourself, addressing lack of self worth, addressing, and if you are doing such, then it's hell. Because it's like, I'm a piece of shit and it ain't hard to fucking tell. Okay. When you take this responsibility for yourself, like it's no longer your sister, it's no longer your mother, it's no longer your brother, it's no longer the neighbor, it's you. Okay. It's not your lover, it's you. It's not your kids, it's you. And when you get there, it's like, oh hell. All hell is breaking loose. And so in order for us to get to this place where we feel light, we feel jovial, we feel at peace, we feel whole, we feel happy, we are grateful, and we're there in a sustainable way, it takes a lot of dirty work. I mean, it's not cute. And I think I made a video a little while back where I apologized to people who have been following me for quite some time for making it look easy. Okay, but I'm an Aries and we kind of do our stuff in solitude, in isolation. You know what I mean? By the time you see us again, we just shiny and new. Like we might disappear for like 3 months. And then, by the time we pop out, we done all kind of shadow work and then looked at some stuff, and now we like, hey, Um, but I understand for some people, that's not easy. It's not easy. And so one of the things I tell a lot of my clients, not all, a lot of them, all of them, at the beginning of service with me is to find you 5 core friends, people that you can be vulnerable in front of, people you can get naked with, people you can be your true authentic self with, that are not looking to gain anything from you. They're not looking to exploit you. They have no benefit in you. They merely love you and want the best for you. And that is because you need a support system, because hell is some heavy stuff. Like, let's just keep it real. A lot of us, our stuff is so heavy, we can't even imagine or fathom sharing it with someone because it's so embarrassing, or it's so, you know, cliche, or it's so against whose ever standards, that we don't want other people to see us in these ways. But it's important for you to be able to see yourself in the most authentic way possible, so that you can make the adjustments necessary to bring you to your greatest version of self. And so um, I didn't get here overnight. You know, it didn't happen overnight. There was a lot of things that I had to unpack in my life. You know, things that I had stored away that weren't serving me, and uh, I had to get very clear for myself on what was the outcome I wanted. That's the other thing. People set the outcome that you want. What outcome do you want? Okay, you want peace. Okay, so now you have to begin to operate in peace. And that means that you are bringing yourself to peace, finding ways to comfort yourself, finding ways to soothe yourself, finding ways to reaffirm yourself, finding ways to love on you and to nurture you in a way that brings you into wholeness and allows you to feel safe with yourself. You know, because when we are living in our lowest self, we oftentimes abandon ourselves, which ruins the relationship that we have with ourselves. Like we lack trust in ourselves, we lack the ability to comfort ourselves, we lack the ability to check in on ourselves, and so it's important that you do those things along this journey. Don't think that your ugly is uglier than anybody else's. Okay, because I'm gonna tell you now, ugly is ugly. It ain't no levels to ugly, really. It's ugly. I mean, you know, it don't feel good. It is not getting you the results that you want. And so it's up to you to make the choices to change. And that is difficult because you got to be like, well, what new habits do I get? You know, how do I develop new thought process? I had to start telling myself with the nasty thoughts. Like I had to literally get in the mirror, and when those nasty thoughts would come in, I would just tell myself, "You're lying. You're lying. You're lying. That's not true." Okay, and I would reaffirm it with what was true, based upon my now experience versus my past experience. And by doing this, I was able to renew my mind. Okay, so when you hear, how do I renew mind? You renew the mind by putting new things there, replacing the nonsense that's there. You got to kick that stuff out, put some new stuff in there. But if you just keep regurgitating, keep replaying, and keep reliving what you've already experienced, then you're obviously going to always get what you've always got. So, um, I one of the things I think what made me think about this video and doing this video was working on the trailer. So I bought a used trailer. I paid $1,000 for a trailer. Bought a piece of land. I'm sure y'all have seen this type of thing on the internet. And yeah, I've done that, right? So I purchased the trailer, 2 bedroom, 1 bath, for $1,000, and now I'm going to remodel it. But in looking at it, there are lots of things that are distasteful to the eyes. Right now, mind you, I only paid $1,000 for it. There's no way that I was gonna walk into like some what do they call it, a turnkey type situation, right? So there has to be work. There's processes, and it reminded me of the processes that it took to get here, and I can kind of easily gloss over those things because hey, I did the work. It's like yeah, let me tell you about the good parts. Let me tell you about the good parts. But at the same time, I think that I rob people of the ability to see in a practical sense how I got here, you know, and that took a lot of going out in nature, you know, spending time with myself so that I could hear myself, spending time with myself so that I could hear God, spending time in places that gave me peace, you know, places that allowed me to feel stable, hanging around with people who projected out love in the way that I desired it, versus people who I had to pour into all the time. So there's a lot of subtle changes that we have to make along the way. And I'm going to always encourage you guys to make those changes. Don't be afraid to do what's new because of the benefits they're going to have for you. Everything you want is right on the opposite side of that wall that you won't leap over, or that door that you're scared to open, or the window that you're afraid to peek through, or the vault door that you're afraid to get the combination and tap that in. Um, what we are here for is to come to that culmination. So without doing the work, you're kind of just wasting time. You know what I mean? It's just like we're not here just for the suffering. We're not here just for our bad mistakes. We're here to go through the processes of making those mistakes, making bad decisions, seeing those decisions for what they are, looking at how we develop the decision making process, and then the outcomes that we receive. You know, are we making decisions based on fear, lack, um, and lack of value in yourself, lack of worth, self worth? You know, are you doing it because of lack of love for yourself? Are you doing it because of lack of stability? You know, when you can see those things, you can make alterations. And so, don't avoid looking at yourself. Don't avoid being, present for you in a way that creates real results. So, yeah. What else did I have to overcome? Addiction, sex addiction, gambling. Uh, oh, ooh, this was a good one. I had to repair my relationship with money. Okay, and that one was a hard one because it went from one extreme to the next. Okay, so it went from like this poverty mindset of I'm never gonna, I can never have enough, I'm never gonna get enough until, oh, I'm just so lucky with it, it just comes all the time and I can just spend it and give it away and give it away and get some more. And so I had to bring that into balance, right? That was a very hard lesson. I had to learn to be studious with my money. I had to learn to make decisions that were greater for the long term and not just right now. You know, like, oh, I want these nice shoes because I'm depressed right now. And so I'm going to go in the store and I'm going to buy them. And this neon green looks so good. And I just, you know what I'm saying? I'm going to go get me a new t shirt to go with it. And so, I had to, fix that. And so, um, the relationship with money had to be fixed. My relationship with my siblings, that was a great battle. Understanding to allow my brothers to be who they were individually and loving them and accepting them without trying to remote control their lives. So I had to overcome that. Um, Fear of commitment. Fear of commitment. I had to overcome the fear of commitment. Um, and I think that was the whole journey here, right? Was with the hair, was like finally committing myself to something that lasted over time. As an Aries, I'm very good to get something going and lose interest in it. I'm bored with that thing, and I'm going to get something else to do. And so I had to learn to be focused long term on things and commit myself to something. That too was a journey. I had to like, and guess what? I couldn't have never wrote no books. Okay, without that, like I just imagine if I wouldn't have done that work, there would never be a book. I probably got like the first 2 pages of the book. I'd be running around telling everybody I'm writing a book for the next 40 years. So that definitely took a lot of shadow work, a lot of integration, and a lot of self awareness. So, like I said, I'm sharing these things with you guys because it's a lot that happens to all of us in various ways for various reasons. And it's important that you know you're not alone. Okay, you're not alone. You're not the only person who struggles with money. You're not the only person who struggles with sex. You're not the only person who struggles with drugs or some kind of addiction. You're not the only person who struggles with stinking thinking. You're not the only person who just can't get right. Like we all been can't get right before. Like you know what I'm saying? Beat beat, pick that motherfucker up on the motherfucking curb with a motherfucking helmet and some knee pads. Right? We've all been there because we can get stuck in these cycles. Okay, because sometimes the work can be so hard, it can be so heavy, it can be so dark that in doing the work itself, you're going to go so low. But I promise you that all that's going to happen is when you're done, you're going to rise higher than you could even imagine. And you're going to one day use your things that you've overcome to liberate someone else. And that's the way this thing works. And so when you get disillusioned with doing the work, when you catch yourself in those hard places, one thing that kept me going was I kept remembering Jonah. Okay, Jonah, when Jonah was given his work, he was supposed to go to Nimrod. He didn't want to. Okay, he didn't want to, and so he decided I'm gonna go off and go where I want to go. And as a result, the thing that stuck out to me in that story more than being in the whale or anything was on the boat. The amount of people who knew nothing about Jonah's calling, who had never encountered Jonah or anything, but the amount of people who lost their life or were hurt as a result of Jonah's disobedience. So, when you find yourself stuck in those places and you're like, I just can't. I don't I don't want to keep doing that. I'm tired of crying. I'm tired of I'm tired of weeping. I'm tired of being sick. I'm tired of can't eat. I'm tired. Always think of, if you don't do this work, how many more people could you potentially hurt? How many more times could you potentially hurt yourself? And 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 as a result, where would that leave mankind? If none of us do the work, then clearly we're going to be, oh my goodness, we're going to be worse than when Jesus needed to come. So I think that it's important for us to keep each other encouraged, each other lifted up, to keep praying for each other, wishing each other well, pouring love into each other, light into each other. But here's the thing, also let people pour love and light into you when you're in those tough places. Because, see, there's no person on the planet that their ugly is so ugly that they can't be loved through it. With love, we're able to deliver people, okay, from things that they might not be able to get out of by themselves. If we just leave them by themselves, that fuck them, and then they need to get it together, and then they probably never come out, you know. And think about the times in your life where somebody has had to help you out of your darkness. So, um, I pray that this video helps somebody to remember that we're all imperfect. We're all here trying to figure it out. We're all here trying to get to that highest level of ourself. And there's no way to get there if we never take no steps. There's no way to get there if we never challenge ourselves to look at the things that are keeping us from getting there. See, our enemies and our enemy, and listen to what I'm saying, our enemies are our footstools and our stepping stones, but we must first pull them out and set them before us so that we can stand upon them. So, the next time you find yourself in a difficult situation, just take a little bit of time with yourself and get to understanding how you're making your thoughts. And how your thought processes is forming, how your decision making is forming, how this thing is hurting you, how is it benefiting you, what does it feel like, what would you rather feel, and how to get yourself there. Are you nurturing yourself? Are you loving yourself? Are you affirming yourself? Are you forgiving yourself? Are you disciplining yourself? Find those things out and continue to push yourself and challenge yourself to take that higher road, because your higher self is all that you deserve. I'm the Polish Saint, and I hope that this message somehow helps somebody to remember that you're the shit. You're the fucking bomb. You're that, oh, I'm telling y'all that JoJo Dancer. Okay, if y'all don't know what JoJo Dancer is, look it up. But y'all that JoJo Dancer. And see, JoJo Dancer, when he took that hit, boy, JoJo Dancer jumped in the fire, became Richard Pryor. Yeah, was made anew. And you too can be made anew by taking that leap, to become the greatest version of yourself and challenging yourself to take that hit, take that road, take it, okay? Whatever opportunities present themselves, whatever kind of way that you can give yourself a little bit more love, whatever kind of way that you can forgive yourself a little bit more, whatever kind of way you can nurture yourself, do those things because they're what are going to help you to keep going through the darkness. And don't forget, get you a core five. Get you a core five. Now you gotta have a core five. Okay, no successful person is successful without a core five. I'm gonna tell y'all right now. And that's the truth. It's the truth. It's the truth. Everything I say is the truth. Everything I tell you the truth. I gotta tell the truth, the whole truth. And what? Nothing but the truth. Long as this thing keeps turning, spinning, twisting, whatever it's doing, I got to tell the truth. So, know that. Okay, when you're looking at me and you're like, all right, got it together. Listen. I go through daily processes. Okay, on different levels. From myself reflection to how I see other people to what I allow in my presence to what I allow in my body to what I allow in my mind, what I allow out of my mouth. You know, it's a lot, it's a lot, it's a lot. But I can tell you this, every bit of this journey has been worth it. All of those nights crying, feeling less than, or having to reclaim myself and crawling to bring myself back to wholeness, all of those things were worth it because this is the end result. And I'll tell y'all now, you're worth it and worthy. So make sure that you find the encouragement, the strength, be it in music, be it in your company, your social interactions, be it in what you watch in videos, be it in what you read in books, whatever you are taking in, make sure that it takes you to the higher level. Okay, if it's keeping you where you at, that ain't what you need. Okay, if it's taking you to the next level, get more and more of it and find ways to give it out to other people. Because guess what? We all got to get back home. I'm the Polish Saint. It was an honor and a pleasure to do this video. I am happy to be back on my schedule. I'm hoping that I can kind of keep to it. But hey, listen, I'm living life, right? But either way, you guys will be getting 2 videos a week. And I hope to give you guys words of encouragement. I hope that I'm going to be seeing some of you people live and in person at some of my events throughout the country, and maybe a couple cruise ships. You got to stay tuned. And what else is it? Really, to get on a cruise ship with me, you kind of gotta be like some kind of lucky person. You just gotta, you know what I'm saying? I think God be done already planned the people on the cruise that I'm gonna encounter. Like it's just, I really believe that. Like God be like, okay, Saint, get on this boat, and now I'm gonna introduce you to these 10 people, and now that's kind of how it works. So where else can you guys really, that's it. You gotta find me on a cruise ship or at one of my book signings. If you know of a dope bookstore in your area and you got some friends that'll come out and see me, you should inbox me, go to my website, and send me a message and make a referral, and you might get a special prize when I show up to your town. I'm the Polish Saint, and this has been a great pleasure to deliver this message. I hope that you guys receive it in wholeness and apply it to your life so that what? The knowledge becomes wisdom. And from there, wait a minute. Now we enlightened. Oh, yeah. Turn the lights on. I love it when the lights is on. Make sure you share this video with your mother, your sister, your daughter, your dog, the cat, the neighbor, your preacher, your pastor, your lawyer, your doctor, the policeman, Mr. Policeman, and everybody else. They need to get up in here and hear this because listen, salvation for self means salvation for everyone else. We are all only what but one what body, and so there ain't no me better than you. It's all of us together. And so with that being said, if you can't get it right, none of us is getting it right. So let's go. If you're struggling, you need some help, you don't know how to get beyond yourself, you know, need somebody. I'm gonna tell you now, this is a forewarning, and I think I'm gonna start putting this out here, even though I haven't had too much, you know, trouble. Oh, well, maybe a little bit. But not nothing too serious. You know what I mean? Like nobody's actually kicked my ass yet. I've gotten a couple threats. but I've not actually gotten bust upside the head. But I am the coach that is going to tell you the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth as it concerns you. Okay, so don't come to my my inbox or to my website and you want to, and you're trapped in, oh, my brother, or oh, my dog, or the cat, and my niece, and my lover, and my mother, and the neighbor, because I need you to know everything you say to me, I'm going to always point it right back to you, right? Because you come to me because you're trying to reclaim your power, and that means that nobody else is responsible for that but you. I'm the Police Saint, the self mastery coach, published author, and motivational speaker, and this is my Wednesday night mind dump. So, how did I get here and be made shiny and new? A whole lot of dark work, a whole lot of dealing with the ugly parts of me, a whole lot of being accountable to myself, a whole lot of rewiring my mind, a whole lot of redirecting my focus. And when I did that, woo, God knows, great things happen. And that's how I'm the Police Saint. And I encourage you guys to go through this journey because ain't nothing on this planet better. I love y'all. I hope this message helps somebody. Make sure that you share the video. Go out tomorrow, do something that makes you feel amazing. If it ain't nothing but what? Start to collect those new thoughts of what, how am I holding me back? What kind of lies do I tell to myself? In what ways do I tell myself I'm not good enough? In what ways do I get in my way? In what ways do I stop me from moving forward? In what ways is my childhood holding me back in the 70s, 80s, 90s, 60s for some of y'all, 50s for some of y'all? You know what I'm saying? In these other places, that they don't even exist no more. The past is an illusion. So is the future. The only thing that matters is right now where you stand in this very moment, and everything else is secondary to unnecessary. So if in this very moment you're not getting the greatest results possible, see how you are either A, reflecting to the past, or B, projecting onto your future and fucking shit up. I love y'all. I hope this message helps somebody. Peace and wellness. Stay kind, stay calm, stay positive. Go out tomorrow, find somebody difficult to love, give that love away. If it's a smile, if it's a handshake, if it's a hug, if it's a high five. I like to high five little kids, right? If you ever see a little kid somewhere and they looking at you, they get, always give them a high five. It makes their day. I'm telling you now, it's better than anything else on the world. So, I love y'all. Make sure that you share the video, like the video, please, 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 so that other people can see the video. Don't y'all want people to know about me? I do. I want people to know about me. So, make sure that you liking and sharing the video. I love you guys. Peace and wellness.